Hey guys, Simon here with Caddis Fly Shop, an Oregon fly fishing blog, and today I'm using some new hairline materials for this Mohair Scruff golden stone. It is this chenille that makes it all scruffy here. It looks super buggy, kind of looks like gills that are on the abdomen of stonefly nymphs. Super buggy looking nymph. I fished it, it works good. It's a winner, so we'll get to it and show you how it works. So this is a Core 1760 size 6. It also would be pretty much the same hook as a TMCO 200R. And so the thread I'm using is Danville's 140 denier tan thread, and we are going to tie on the antenna right now. And what we're going to use for that is these leading edge fibers from, I guess you could call them, from a turkey buyout feather, or a turkey feather right here. The buyouts are on this side right here, and then we're using these on the other side. So we're just taking 2 of those, tying them in for the antenna, and then we'll slip the bead on. So we'll snip that, do a little whip finish or half hitch. So your thread doesn't come undone. And so the bead we're sneaking on here is a 3/16 or 4.6 millimeter countersunk tungsten bead from Hareline. In gold is the color we're using. So we'll slide that on, and now you can see you have a nice head with these antennae coming off. And so we'll continue and bring thread wraps to the back here, pretty much of this thread, so we can work from back to front here. And we're going to put buyouts in as the tail, and so you can use a little ball of dubbing of whatever color you want. You know, some gold dub would work if you don't want to do this, but since I already have this Mohair Scruff dubbing out, what you can do is you could just take a little bit of it and just peel it off, and you just need to make a tiny little ball, and this will just splay out the tails. That's the only reason I'm doing this. It's just kind of a trick I learned to make the tails of your prince nymphs and stonefly nymphs and copper johns and stuff. It just kind of splays them out just enough so they don't kind of collapse on themselves. So now you have that little bump back there of material. We're going to take 2 turkey buyouts, or I'm sure goose buyouts would work, and we're going to splay them out right here. I like to tie them in loosely first, and then I will get closer and adjust, you know, the length needed. I'll tie them both in, take a look. I think these are a little long, so I'll shorten them up. A little shorter. There we go. There we go. So now that we have those tied in, we'll just kind of wrap this up to the front. It'll help fill up some space on here. Next, what I'm using is, this is just to make the body wider. This is 0.35 millimeter lead-free wire. Lead wire would work fine. Just other thick wire. This is just to make the body a little wider, because they do have these wide bodies. So I'm taking a short section here just to kind of bulk up the profile a little bit of this. So I'm tying it in along next to the hook on hook shank on either side. You can see here I tied it in just along the side, and we'll do the same on the other side. There's a little bit of prep on this fly like this, where you're kind of building the skeleton a little bit, but then once you have all these materials tied in the back, you just kind of, what's nice about the chenille is you just like wrap it up and then you're done. It's pretty quick once you do all this. So now you have this kind of foundation built for the fly. Next we have to tie a couple of materials in. First, I guess we can put in some medium gold soft wire, this stuff right here. take a section of it. I like to tie it into the top, and then we'll kind of pinch it off towards the buyouts back here. And then next we're going to put a little bit of this dark gold stone standard tubing here. So this stuff, again, I'm going to tie this in on the top. This will help kind of round out the back of the fly, just so it'll kind of have a flat belly and a round back, and then that wide body when looking from above or below. If you can see here, that's much wider. And so this is where having a material clip helps a lot. And a rotary vise, you can kind of sneak around and look what you're doing, and you can keep your stuff out of the way. Next, we are going to do a little bit of this transparent slim skin. You're going to tie it a bit, a little bit thinner than the hook gap. It peels off here. You're going to tie some of this in towards the back. This will be what you pull over the back of the fly here. And you're going to bring this all the way back, as far back as all the other materials are. And then lastly, we're going to bring, we have two sizes of this stuff today. We have it looks like this, comes in a pack of chenille, speckled black Mohair Scruff golden stone. And this is, I guess, what they would call the small size. It comes on a core like this. I'll tie that again into the top, just to build up a little bit of profile. And then for the thorax, we use medium, a little bit thicker. And so right here, what we're going to do now is we're just going to wrap all the way up. And like I said, this stuff is so quick, before we know it, we're going to be done dubbing this body. So now that that's all secured, next we pull this slim skin over. And this one has modeling. They make it without modeling, depending on your needs. Next we'll wrap this standard tubing around, kind of give it a segmented look. And then next, with each wrap of this segmented tubing, I will wrap gold wire just next to it. And this will kind of just hold it all together. And so now once you get up here, you can just this can kind of be messy because you're just going to wrap more stuff over it. Trim off these excess ends. Bring back this slim skin back here, enough to make space for a thorax, which I would say maybe about a third of the way back on the shank, maybe a little bit more, a little less. It's not super critical. And what we're going to do now, before we get too much stuff on here, is we're going to kind of brush and pick this out. So this is this hareline new tool. You can use any bodkin, but I like this hareline tool because it's a 3-in-1. So, coming in to film this at the shop, I just had to bring in one tool. At your desk, you just reach for one tool and it's good. So I'm just picking some of this out a little bit because some of it gets flattened out when you wrap it. But this stuff's super buggy. It looks great when it's wet. And you just got to kind of help it out sometimes. So now that's looking a lot more buggy. Then you can brush it when it's out, and that looks a lot better. So now that we've brought this back, next what we're going to do is tie in legs. We're using these grizzly barred rubber legs, medium tan. These guys right here. They come and they're zip tied, so if you cut on one half of the zip tie, that should be enough leg to work with. And so I'll just kind of tie that in here. And then we'll wrap it around the front here. And then we'll kind of get it all evened up. So now when it kind of looks like this, it's kind of all evened out. Well, you can see my view here. I'm looking down on it. I'll trim this right here. These legs are a little long, so I'll trim them down. But I'd rather have more than less because you can't really put more material back on. Now we're going to take this medium, which is just a hair longer Mohair Scruff. It also comes in large and possibly an XL, I think. We're going to wrap this in as far back as that thin skin goes where it's wrapped back. And we'll bring these wraps back up to the bead, and then we're going to wrap this around. So I'm going to kind of work my way around these legs. I'll do one whole wrap behind the legs, one between, and then do some in the front. That's all done. I mean, you can see this stuff is super quick once you have it all set up. You know, it's all instantly dubbed. Quicker than making a brush. It's honestly quicker than even making a dubbing noodle. It's pretty sweet. So now what we're going to do is kind of spread that to the sides if you can, just a little bit. It's not super critical. We're going to pull this over to the bead. I'm going to pinch this down right here. Just like that, and now we have this kind of wing case thorax thing. And then last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back over the head. You can see what I'm doing right here. I have it folded. I'll do that, and that kind of leaves a little bit over the head. It's kind of cool. It looks like just like the head, kind of hides the bead a little bit. And now I'm going to whip finish here, and I'll trim the legs down, and it's done. So that's the Mohair Scruff Gold Stone, using some of the new hairline stuff. Really buggy, fishes well. These bugs have a crazy life cycle. They live underwater for several years, so they're in the system year round. Right now I'm just trimming the legs up a little bit. Right here, kind of evening stuff out. I can brush a little bit down here if I want. Get it all scruffy. This little bit of excess stuff here, I'll trim this down. And now that that's trimmed, I can take a little bit of Solarez resin if I want, and just to secure it down. This will be Solarez bone dry. I like to do this on my flies just to make sure they don't come undone. Right here. I can do a little bit up here too. Just ensures my thread wraps don't pop, especially if it's getting torn up by the fish. So right here you have the Mohair Scruff Goldstone, new hairline stuff. It's all available online. Super versatile. It comes in a lot of colors, this material. So let us know what you do with it, or if you fish this, how it works. Thanks.